This podcast was recorded during the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Without the labor of the writers and actors currently on strike, Wonka and a lot of the other things we cover on this podcast wouldn't exist. Hugh Grant, during the restaurant scene, is dressed like a guy who lets bugs bite him on YouTube. Gordon Ramsay in his second midlife crisis where he shrinks his pants. Scarf on neck akin to a blood pressure cuff. He looks like a Pier 1 Imports nesting box set from 2006 came to life. Personified Applebee's booth. Not the restaurant, the booth. This bitch is an All Saints Rewards member. He actually reads the promotional emails they send him. He saw a fake dinosaur fossil on a cheap cord necklace at a theme park once and purchased it, not realizing it was for 7-year-old boys named Zach. Impossible Burger core. Whole Foods paper bag core. He looks like a model that only poses for opticians' eyeglass displays. Like he loves Oakleys, but he can't decide what version to buy, so he just talks about them incessantly. And then when you try to help him pick one, he gets all huffy. I don't know if that's a good intro. I don't know.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Okay, cool. That was the review I wrote during the last 10 minutes of music and lyrics. I think I was just kind of trying to entertain myself. But you know, music and lyrics is the topic of today's episode. Why is it the topic of today's episode? Well, Hugh Grant sings in it, and Wonka's a musical. And therefore, through that weak linkage, we're doing an episode on it. Because I feel like
it's had a grip on you as well.
I just wanted a break. I wanted to do something stupid that was unrelated to this.
It's just so interesting. It brought back a lot of memories for me, because this was one that I've seen a lot when it first came out as well.
Yeah.
So.
And this was my first, Hugh Grant rom-com exposure. And I felt like we'd gone through Timothy's past career with the musical stuff, and, we'd done Bones and All recently, and I think it kind of reinvigorated that desire to, check this back out again, you know? And not check this back out, but, go back into Hugh Grant's past, and this is the one movie that I was like, we can do a link there. And, it is a film. It is a film.
It is a film.
It's a film. And we're going to talk about it today.
I liked it better than you did, and I can't wait to discuss.
I didn't hate this movie, but to be fair, all I've heard is hyped up. Hugh Grant, rom-com king, rom-com legend, and this is not him at his peak.
Yeah, no, I consider this very different. Even though it's it is, I guess, classic rom-com, I consider this very different from most of his work. This movie is kind of its own
I do want to. I think we'll talk briefly about my exposure to Hugh Grant, because I was talking to my mom about it, and I realized how unconventional the Hugh Grant movies and films I've seen. I've only seen the deep cuts. I have not seen the main, the main. I'm on the country roads of the Hugh Grant filmography, and you're on the highway. It's
Mm-hmm.
Because the problem is anytime I watch a movie with Hugh Grant in it, I go, man, I want to watch Maurice, and then I watch Maurice afterwards. So it's a fun little button where I instantly watch this other movie. God, I love Maurice. But anyway, that's not the point of today's episode. Hi everyone, welcome to Wonka Watch. This is the podcast where we cover everything in the Wonkaverse leading up to the Wonka release. Even if it is so barely related. We're on a rickety bridge right now. And, on the other end is Wonka. And the bridge between music and lyrics and Wonka has not been trodden on in quite a long time. And I think we are perhaps the first to trod on it. But we
made the bridge.
I think we did build the bridge. I think you're right.
We made the bridge ourselves.
The only person who built the bridge before us was Hugh Grant, and then it's us.
Yeah. And it was a zip line when he did it, so we had to fashion some extra things, and we'll see if we fall into the ravine or not.
Yeah, I don't think I learned anything from this. There was literally nothing I could glean from this film. I don't know. It wasn't bad. It was just I'm also not a rom-com person. I'm not a rom-com person. So I don't know. This was an odd viewing for me. If you look at my Letterboxd history, it's what the fuck? Why'd she watch music and lyrics? It's very much out of character.
Yeah, I could see this being very
it's extremely out of character
outlier
for me.
Yes.
But you know what? Oh, I'm popping down to the record store. I'm doing a physical object again, guys. You know what? We're on episode 93. I think I'm allowed some repeats. I go into that record store, and what do I find? Ooh, it's the Pop album. Definitely not Wham at all. And it's that song that's really kind of just Careless Whisper, but not. And I open up the inside in the liner notes. Oh my God, there's Wonka news in here? That's crazy. It's from 1984. Who would have fucking guessed? So I have two brief pieces of Wonka news, and they're really just like a rehash. I mean, the first one is just a solid statement that Wonka's release date is not moving. Thank fucking God.
I was really scared because I heard moving, and I understood not was said in that phrase, but I was about to be like, what?
Basically, a lot of Warner Bros. Movies are being delayed due to the strikes, but according to Deadline, Wonka is staying put because, like, for example, Dune 2 moved from November of this year to March of 2024, which is a significant jump. And I think because, like, Wonka's very much a Christmas film. They know it's a kid's film. People are going to go to the theaters to see it regardless. It doesn't really need the hype. And also, it's already been delayed, so I think they're just like, get this shit out.
They're like, we need to get this,
I'm glad we're good. And now,
yes.
You know those Magic Hat gummies we talked about a while back?
Yes.
Well, they're hitting the shelves now, and I have the press release. So these are limited edition from Ferrero. They're a treat that allows fans to become part of the delicious and magical world of Willy Wonka. Each pack includes an assortment of top hat-shaped gummies in 4 fruity flavor combinations, including strawberry watermelon, raspberry grape, orange strawberry, and magic berries. For added fun, every Magic Hat gummy with an I.
Oh.
Includes a sweet, magical surprise with each fruity bite. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. For decades, the name Wonka has been synonymous with sweet treats that bring joy, wonder, and the magical childhood to people of all ages, said Greg Giudotti, I think, Chief Marketing Officer at Ferrero Candy Co. And with the anticipation of the new Wonka movie, we are excited to help bring the film to life through the return of the Wonka brand to sugar confections with this new Magic Hat gummies. With this innovation, our goal is to be able to create fun and imaginative experiences through candy that offers fans a little magic in every bite. Additionally, with the launch of this new candy, Ferrera and Warner Bros. Are bringing the magical world of Wonka directly to fans with the Dream It and Do It text to win sweepstakes. With every purchase, fans will receive $5 in movie rewards to see the movie in person and have the chance to win a Warner Bros. Studio Hollywood Deluxe tour for 4 people and other great prizes. Simply text Wonka to the code located on packs of Wonka's Magic Hat gummies. So, beginning September 1st, they'll be available at Walmart, and then from September 28th, they'll be available nationwide for a limited time only, like at other retailers.
So I have to go get these.
Yeah, no, we will have to go get these. The fruited gummies come in both 4-ounce and 6-ounce bags at a suggested retail price of $1.99 to $3.69, which is really fucking cheap. So, like, we have to get these.
I can work with this.
I don't like gummies, so I don't think I'm going to like these, but we do have to do it.
I don't love gummies either. I've also never heard the flavor combo raspberry grape.
I'm more concerned by orange strawberry.
Yeah, I don't.
Raspberry grape is just going to taste like jelly. It's going to be sick as hell.
I don't know.
But here's the thing: is it a truthful grape or is it a fake grape? Because fake grape is a whole other thing, and fake grape, like flavoring and seasoning, not seasoning, scent is like one of my least favorite things on the planet.
Seasoning, ew!
Fake grape seasoning.
Dude, grape soda.
Grind
is my
that up over your pork
jam.
chop. All right, shall we discuss music and lyrics?
Let's get into it.
So, music and lyrics is like a late Hugh Grant rom-com where he plays a washed-up 80s pop star who needs to write a song for the new up-and-coming pop star who's definitely not Britney Spears. And he's not good at writing lyrics, and he's never been good at writing lyrics. So Drew Barrymore, who was watering his plants, just apparently is really good at it. And he pesters her into joining and helping him. And that's the movie. And then they, for some reason, hook up. They shouldn't have, but they did.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where you're like, okay,
sure,
you have a good dynamic. That's great. Oh, why are you kissing each other now? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I had the realization like 45 minutes into this movie. I was kind of enjoying it, and then I was like, they're going to be a couple because I know this is a rom-com, and that kind of killed my vibe because I was like, look, it's not that I'm against it, you know, but like, it's not that I'm against straight people, but No, but like, I don't mind that. I just think that a lot of straight romances don't actually get the tension that there needs to be. Like, you need to try a little harder. You can't just have a man and a woman who enjoy talking to each other. That's just called being nice.
Yes.
Like, I don't... this was a
friends.
couple of besties, in my opinion, truly.
Yes,
Like, if this was a movie about, like, two best friends and, like, the fun of, like, being friends with people who, like, aren't exactly like you, I actually probably would have liked it a lot more, because I was just, like, taken out of it the whole time, where I was like, why are they hooking up? This doesn't make sense. This is not... And also, like, this was not... Hugh Grant was not swoon-worthy in this by any means, either. And that's not a diss at Hugh Grant. I get
even
the
the
Hugh Grant
character
appeal.
itself. Yeah, it's just like
He just kind of sucked. He was just kind of annoying. Like, there were certain parts where I was like, okay, that's nice. And he did get a chuckle out of me a few times, but he felt like a walking quip machine rather than a human. It kind of felt like someone was pulling a string on his back to make a funny joke.
That's fair. I am obsessed with the song Pop Goes My Heart. Like, that is
it is
like,
very good.
Those are lyrics that I, like, throughout my life will just randomly sing as well. And to get to hear the whole song again, I forgot about some of the prime lyrics we have in that song. Fantastic.
I think I should briefly say my Hugh Grant history before we get into this.
Yes.
So, because I realized this yesterday, I have not watched many of the Hugh Grant staples. This is my Hugh Grant filmography I've seen. I've seen Paddington, A Very English Scandal, which was like my first Hugh Grant thing to watch, which is fucking weird. And I think my Hugh Grant impression is based on A Very English Scandal Hugh Grant, because I was watching this and I was like, what the fuck is this? He doesn't talk like how I've been doing it. And I was like, oh fuck, is my impression shit as hell? And then I was like, no, I'm doing like old man Hugh Grant, and in A Very English Scandal he kind of does talk more like that, so I was like, okay, it's probably fine. And then Maurice. Those are the 3 Hugh Grant films I've seen, which are the 3 that are least like the rest of his filmography.
Majority of his career. Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, because like this is my first Hugh Grant rom-com, and I'm like, wait, this is it? This is the thing? That's so I don't know. I'll probably have to watch Notting Hill or something so I can give it like a fair evaluation, you know? But
have you seen Love Actually?
Nope. Literally, like, the only classic rom-com I've seen is The Holiday. That's the only one. And I'm like, I feel like I don't need to see any others because that's the best one.
Yeah,
I'm like, is there any other I need to watch?
The Holiday is maybe one of my favorite movies, period. Anyway.
No,
so, yeah, they did it. They did
my mom got me to watch it, and I was like, yeah, that was
Jack
fucking
Black.
great.
Like,
I know, yeah.
That's how you know it's good. And you're like, you made me believe.
Well, no, literally, that one scene when they were writing the music together, I was like, God, I wish I was watching the fucking Holiday. I was like,
do. Yeah. Oh, wow. Maybe I'll go watch that tonight.
Most of this movie just made me wish I was watching other movies. I don't think it's a horrible movie, but every time I was like, man, I wish... And, like, sometimes Drew Barrymore would say something, I was like, God, I wish I was watching Donnie Darko. And, like, it was like... There was a point where I even wanted to watch Scream. I was just like, any other movie that these people have been in or have these vibes, I'd rather be watching currently.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. It's just fine, you know?
Yeah. And I think like it's like for me there's nostalgia with it. This was not my first Hugh Grant rom-com. I've seen like probably majority of them.
What do you think is the best one?
Oh God. Notting Hill's like okay. It's whatever. He's very delightful in Bridget Jones' Diary, but he plays the bad guy, which is kind of fun to see. And usually his characters are kind of bumbling, like silly guy. They're like, oh I don't know, whatever. Yeah. But in like that one, he's like the suave, like, you know, whatever. Sense and Sensibility, which I don't. It's a rom-com. I love Sense and Sensibility. That's like my other all-time favorite movie. I can play that nonstop. And
add that on the commentary track list.
Add it to the list. Oh my gosh!
Honestly,
I
would probably like that one. That's a good middle ground between like the rom-coms and Maurice. I think I could get down with that.
Yeah, because you have Emma Thompson, you've got Kate Winslet, Alan Rickman, like all these people you would not expect in a Jane Austen movie.
So I'm a Maurice like stan. If you need to know one thing about me, Maurice is perhaps one of my favorite books, and I think it might be my favorite book.
And Felicia has given me an additional copy.
Yeah, because I got a copy with a cover I didn't like, and I was going to give it to a thrift store, and I'm like a Maurice evangelist, so if anyone shows any attempt at reading it, I'll be like, I'll buy you a copy. Like, I'm fucking crazy about this
So it's on my to-read shelf. At some point it'll happen.
I know, like, it just resonates with me more than it's going to than other people, because I had some realizations of like, this mirrors some stuff in my life, doesn't it? Basically, I didn't like the movie Maurice until I read the book Maurice, and now I like the movie Maurice because it reminds me how good the book Maurice is. I thought the movie was fine. It was a little slow. But now that I love it, if I want to hit a Maurice and I don't want to sit down for 8 hours and read the book, I can just watch through my favorite scenes in the movie and be like, great, perfect, amazing.
That's fantastic. Usually that doesn't happen for movies, I feel like, where you read the book again, you go, now I like the movie even more, even though I still like the book best.
But that's like my main Hugh Grant exposure is Maurice, so I'm always like, oh yeah, like in Maurice, and it's like no one's fucking seen Maurice. I'm like, seen it. I was like, you know the fame movie Maurice that everyone's fucking watching? Everyone's like, no. Shall we discuss the beginning of this film?
Let us dive in.
So it starts with the music video from Pop of Pop Goes My Heart, which is a fucking great song. Hugh Grant's singing voice is not what I thought it would be, because it's very different than it is in Paddington, right? It's a very different vibe.
When I didn't realize it until this round that he's singing.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they had someone else doing the voices. I was like, no way.
I did look up a piece of IMDb trivia. There wasn't much good on there, but apparently Hugh Grant had to be convinced to sing himself and initially wanted nothing to do with the singing parts. After practicing and performing in the studio, he then felt so comfortable with it that he announced he would perform the big concert scene live. When it was played back, he was highly amused and humbled by how terrible it sounded and was then happy to use the pre-recorded sound. So that's just a fun note. Just to pull you back down to earth. So the black vest and white frilly shirt look that Hugh Grant wears in this opening music video is legitimately an outfit I wore in college, and I just wanted to let everyone know that. And I owned and wore that outfit and didn't have that dissimilar hair, and I was like, oh god. Well,
I see that so clearly.
Yeah, I looked
like Victorian
fucking great.
pirate.
That was actually what I wore to my art show opening.
It's like on very few people would that look good. And I see
looked
that
amazing.
Like, being...
I called it my sexy Benjamin Franklin outfit.
You have to send me a photo now. I need to be able to see this at some point.
Yeah, I'll find it.
God, that's amazing.
There it is.
Fantastic. The posing is stunning.
Pop goes my heart.
It really is almost the same outfit. It looks fantastic.
This is still a fucking great outfit.
This is genuinely
I need to wear this again.
Stunning. You should. You should wear that every single day. Wear that when you get groceries.
It's like a leather vest, too. It's crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, I want to say briefly, they did not try to DH him at all.
No, not at all.
And I think it's worse because, again, as we know, I'm a Maurice stan. And Maurice came out in 1987, which is 3 years after this music video was supposed to be taken. And if you have seen Hugh Grant and Maurice, he is fresh and baby-faced as they come. So it kind of made it difficult for me watching this to buy into it, because I was like, I know what this should look like, and it's not this. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if they just thought like the old I guess it's like charming, but I was a little bit like, okay guys, we could have tried a little harder, you know? But besides that, the music video was great. I think it was very well done.
Yes. And it had like all the classic, like it was just, it genuinely looked like a classic 80s movie. And this makes no sense, but it did remind me of the David Bowie, Mick Jagger. Was it Mick Jagger? Dancing in the Street?
Dancing in the Street, yeah.
Yeah, like it just had that weird energy, but like, and then again, like the clear,
Hugh
like
Grant's dance
cheesiest
moves were very that.
Yes, and then Take a Chance on Me music video, or not Take a Chance, Take Me On. Wow, I'm
Take
getting
on Me.
All my things mixed in. Take on Me. There you go. I'm just in an ABBA mood. I just listened to a shit ton of ABBA for like 3 hours. So,
nice.
But yeah, it reminds me of those music videos.
Well, I was watching this and I was like, within the first minute, I was like, oh, it's Wham. So we're doing Wham. It's Wham.
We're
right?
doing Wham.
Yeah, we're doing Wham. And I do want to, okay, I don't normally like to read other people's, like, I try not to read other people's funny letterbox reviews on here just because I'm like, I want to come up with my own jokes. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it. Mm-hmm. It's a good entertainment. But I do want to pull out this one. I could not pretend to write something as well said as this. This is from the person Nora on Letterboxd. It's the third most popular review. And I just want to give everyone an idea of where this movie is headed. because I feel like it just is good context. Picture this. It is 2006 and you are 13 years old, having a wild night at a Britney Spears concert. She finishes a song, then announces that Andrew Ridgeley, the member of Wham that's not George Michael, is going to sing a song he wrote. Everyone in the audience sits down and goes completely silent. Andrew Ridgeley proceeds to sing a very mediocre piano ballad about how he's useless and living in the past. You and the entire audience of teens around you give him a standing ovation. That's what happens in this movie. And I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was extremely well written, and I was like, I will just be paraphrasing that. And I just need to give that person their credit.
Yes.
Basically, let me read the first paragraph of this fucking plot summary. Alex Fletcher is a washed-up former pop singer from the British group Pop who seems happy in his has-been status, performing for 80s loving fans at reunions and random locations. This is a weird...
Wow. Yeah.
When his manager tells him Cora Corman, a young megastar who wants him to write a song for her titled Way Back Into Love, Alex is reluctant to compose after 2 decades because his strength was always the tune while his ex-partner Colin always wrote the words. However, his caring but professional manager tells him that his music career is completely doomed if he doesn't switch gears. Interest in his nostalgic concerts is dwindling. And then he gets told to write it with a very hip, very edgy lyricist, but then the woman who's watering his plants, Sophie Fisher, has a talent for writing lyrics. Alex, on a 48-hour deadline to write the song, asks her to help him, but she refuses multiple times. So that's kind of like the first hour and a half of the movie.
Yes.
Also, okay, his apartment fucking sucks. I hate his apartment.
What the fuck is the wooden mermaid on his couch? It's huge.
I thought it appeared out of nowhere, too, because I don't think that was there in the beginning.
It was not.
And it just showed up.
It was not there for most of the movie, and then it showed up, I think, in, near the end. But
I got, scared the first time it showed up. So on his couch, he just has a wooden mermaid taking up one of the seats,
Size of a human.
Yeah, the size of a full human, life size. And I also do want to say, Sophie keeps rearranging his apartment, and all of her choices were better than his. So I just want to...
Yes.
Putting that chair on an angle was an inspired decision. She was fucking right. Okay. It just looked so bland and lifeless. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And out of place, with which his entire apartment looks like it's like a doctor's office waiting room.
Yes.
A tax place's waiting room. It just was very... I bet it just smelled like Lysol. I don't know. It had no personality despite having so much shit in it.
Yeah.
It was very weird and uncomfy. So they could have tried harder.
Yeah, he's like, I have a bunch of plants. He's talking to his manager about how he got a bunch of plants because his one friend was saying how they make women feel more comfortable. And I was like, ew. I'm like, I don't, this is not the way to intro. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I get, but stop. I don't like it.
Look at my ficus. You want to come on my waterbed now? Join me.
Yeah,
no.
I do like that they never even mention the waterbed. It just gets a sly look. That was good. He hires someone to do his plants, which just means they come in and water it for 5 minutes. And I don't think Sophie ever waters these fuckers. She's goddamn terrible at this.
Yes.
This is one of the most manic pixie dream girl characters I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my
it was
God.
Absurd. I was like, this is fucking crazy. So then we get the Britney Spears Cora Corman, which is basically parodying the appropriate of 2000s pop music, because she's very into Buddhism, but not in a way that's respectful by any means,
No, yeah.
I had the jump scare of a lifetime because I was like, who's that guy? Why do I recognize that guy? And I realized he was the guy from fucking Glee, Will Schuester. Yes. In this film. Yep. And I was like, oh God.
We had a moment too.
That was strange. I thought he was Justin Timberlake for a brief moment. And I got over it. I figured it out. I didn't recognize him with the styling. I was like, is that...
I see where you got that though.
No, he kind of looks like the way he looked in The Social Network. And I was like, maybe it could be.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Wild.
And then you meet the sister, who the sister is wild. Rhonda?
One of my favorites. I love Rhonda.
No, she's entertaining, but this movie is so deep in the stench of 2000s diet culture. It's crazy. I was not expecting that from this. I was like, holy God.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to a lot of the podcast Maintenance Phase recently, which is all about talking about that retrospectively and kind of exposing some of the the shitty parts of it. So I guess it was more on my mind recently, but I was like, oh my God. It was just so steeped in it in a way that I was like, did this need to be in it?
2007 was a gem of a time, let me tell you.
I do love how rom-coms, you can always tell what the real world equivalent of literally everything is supposed to be. So I'm like, okay, so she runs Weight Watchers, and it's all so obvious. So basically he performs at a high school reunion and invites Sophie, and the sister Rhonda to go. These women want to tear his clothes off on the stage. It's crazy. Which I'm like, do the bass players of any of these bands inspire that? Do you know? Like, I'm like, do you really like?
Right.
You know.
And I think it's important to note that like the main move of pop is to pop the hip, and so he's just constantly doing that. Which seeing Hugh Grant dance is interesting and wild in this one because there's not like full on choreography, but he is dancing.
He has about 4 moves. I mean, literally, it felt like watching a baby drag performance where they know about 4 moves and kind of keep doing them. Especially because there is no realm where you can buy this music being live. Like, it's all so obviously put in post, which is fine. That's normal for movie musicals, but still.
Yes, yeah, and it's like dad at a barbecue dancing as well. Hands dramatically in the air with hip popping, and like when he turns around and does a little like butt wiggle, I was like, what is going what is going on? And then he pulls a muscle and has to go sit down.
Which was funny. And I did like the Careless Whisper parody. It is funny how like it is just Careless Whisper. And as someone who listens to Careless Whisper all the fucking time, it's a good parody. It's a good song. I like this one. This is just exposing a lot about me as a person, I feel like.
This really is, yeah. Who knew music and lyrics would just bring out so much,
music and lyrics makes me talk about my love for Maurice, Careless Whisper, and my sexy Ben Frank outfit. Yeah. You know? So they make Sophie... The way they make her come up with lyrics is like she's being gifted a prophecy and immediately forgets it.
Yes.
Like, you're not the Oracle of Delphi. And also, like, yeah, she's good at writing lyrics. I wouldn't say she's amazing. Like, I was like...
No.
They're fine.
No.
They're fine. I don't know. I just couldn't get that excited about them. But I'm not a lyrics person. I like the music. And Sophie would say, that means I like sex and raw dog in it. Which we'll get into the horny metaphor later. Is a rom-com ever complete without a horny metaphor? I don't know.
No, it ain't.
He calls her Cole Porter in panties, and I'm like, he's not even swoon-worthy. Like, these aren't even fun.
No.
Where, like, the thing is, like, I enjoyed a lot of their, like, bickering and fighting and, like, that kind of thing as, like, banter between friends, but it never felt flirty. There was something so sexless about the way they talked. Up until the horny metaphor. And even after the horny metaphor, that was in like a pocket dimension. They had the horny metaphor and then they just moved on, you know?
Yes, agreed.
They very much had the chemistry of like a kid playing with 2 Barbies. Do you know what I mean? They were like...
Right. And like we I forget if we've mentioned it fully yet, but there is an age difference between them, which also did not automatically, like, it doesn't make you automatically think, oh, they're probably going to get paired up together in that
she
way.
Was so I think Hugh Grant was like mid 40s and she was like early 30s. There was a 14-year age difference. I get it for this story, and I was more okay with it because she was in her 30s, but like also with the broader romance trend of there being like a 12-year age difference between every couple, it kind of made me more ick about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it turns out that's a trend for her, which we'll get into that.
Oh my God.
But, okay, so he, like, finds her job. And also her job is writing slogans for the Weight Watchers thing. Which I don't know what that means. Because then it shows her, like, handwriting them. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah,
why
it
is she handwriting them?
Mostly what we see her doing is, like, picking up boxes at the weight not place.
There's, like, 3 characters in this movie.
True. Yeah. There really are. Huh.
I thought his, like... co-author from like Wham was gonna come back and be like a mean guy.
Yes.
No.
Same. They really build that up to never do anything with it, which is interesting too.
We have the horny metaphor, and according to Sophie, music is the sex and lyrics is the personality, and it takes you longer to get to know people that way. And I'm like,
wow,
cool. And she was like, you don't like lyrics. You just like music. You don't get it.
You just don't understand what's going on.
Like, I have a crush on Drew Barrymore, and this one was still a little hard for me. Like, even I was like, I don't know if I can buy this one, guys.
The character is pretty basic and
they both
very
kind of
quirky.
feel like they got put through a cartoony machine. Like, they were normal people, and then they got cartoonified. They feel like they would be on House Hunters. I don't know why that's a separate thought.
Wow. It's true, though.
You know what they have? They have the dynamic of the guy and the lady on Love It or List It. It's the same dynamic.
If they had to be a liquid, they'd be like a Capri Sun.
Yeah.
out of the pouch in a glass of water.
They're
or
just
not a glass
strange.
of water, just a glass.
It's just a weird couple. They don't feel like real people. That's the problem. Neither of them feels like a real person.
She has hypochondria, and that's brought up for like 2 seconds, and then never touched on.
And then she like puts all her things on the piano, and like, just neither of them feel like real people. That's the problem. I don't know. I can't buy these as real people at all.
No, not like relatable in the sense of like, okay, that makes sense.
And I feel like it would have been better if Hugh Grant's character ever let his like, I'm a sarcastic, quippy guy guard down, but he literally never does. Like, he's just always like that the whole time. I guess except for the song, but like, I don't.
And then it's too late at that point, even. Yeah.
Also, he wears a scarf like every fucking scene, and then Drew Barrymore also starts wearing scarves. There's so many scarves. It's crazy.
That was the fashion back then. Thin, long scarves.
And
put them on your neck, put them around your waist as a belt. Oh yeah, the belt scarf. What a time. What a time. You would have been 4 years old when this came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I was in middle school, so, that's cool. That's cool.
Okay, now we're on the story part, the novel. So basically, here's the other thing, like, I get why this was here, but I also didn't care. Like, I cared, but I also didn't care, you know?
It didn't really have as big of an effect as I feel like it could have. Like, there were a lot of, kind of similar to, like, the pop other, like, artist in there. It's like, that could have maybe been cranked up a notch and been more of a big deal near the end, and it just kind of, like, isn't. It doesn't actually seem like a big deal. Like, I get it for her and how, like, awful it is, but, like, overall, it was just, like, meh, you know?
Yeah. So they're on the story part and the novel. Basically, she has an English professor who she was writing his class. She had an affair with. Turns out he had a fiance she didn't know about who came back from Spain. And then, like, they broke it off. Then he wrote a book about her and was just really mean in the book about her. Essentially, her and Hugh Grant trauma bond about this in a coffee. Is this the coffee scene? I
think that's the next day. It's one of their post-writing nights. They go to the coffee place. So it's hard to say because this also, like, they don't sleep, I feel like, this entire movie. Like, we have 3 days. Is the coffee
place the one where they interact with the English professor?
No. That's a dinner the night that Cora Coram says, yes, we're going to do the song. We say yes. And so they go to celebrate.
I don't remember at all the writings. The coffee shop. I don't know what you're talking about.
So this is like, this would be beforehand. So basically they've been, Sophie at one point is like, I can't think, so we need to go like take a walk or something. And that helps bring ideas. So she's like kind of in a way teaching him how to be a lyricist. So she's like, I need breakfast at one point. And they go get breakfast. And I paused the movie so that I made my friends watch this with me, who also love this movie. And, I was like, do you see what he's eating right there? And they were like, what? And I was like, a blueberry muffin. And they were like, okay. I'm like, it's not a croissant. And they were like,
I didn't even notice.
And I was like, oh, right. That's not a universal joke. That's a joke Felicia and I have. And I was like, so Hugh Grant's supposed to be eating croissants every time he goes to a bakery, and he is having a giant-ass blueberry muffin he didn't even touch.
That's actually fucked because I don't think this guy would eat a blueberry muffin anyway.
Absolutely not.
This guy is eating egg whites only.
Yeah, a frittata if he's feeling spicy that day, but he's not having a blueberry muffin.
No, he's not.
No. Yeah, so it felt really wrong.
This bitch is eating flax seed like a horse.
And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, he could have a croissant.
We need to think. Wonka scholars, put your brains and your minds together. Has he ever eaten a croissant on film?
Please
ever? Because he's gotta have once, right? Somebody else had to see what we saw.
I want a PowerPoint of stills of every single scene that might hopefully exist of him eating different pastry items.
Yes.
And we can rank them from there.
Yeah, if you guys have seen Hugh Grant films and you want to report on what pastries you've seen him eat and tell us the movie it's in, I can try and source the clips, source the finds, and we will do a Buy Me a Coffee ranking Hugh Grant pastry choices. Yes! Ranking Hugh Grant's on-screen eats. Let's bring it to that. His on-screen eats.
I love it, because then we can do multiple ones.
I love that so much. I know he eats some shit in Maurice. I'll watch it again. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, perfect. Oh, no, I have to watch Sense and Sensibility and all the... oh, no, Love Actually. I have to watch Bridget Jones.
Just so we don't have to watch every film, if you guys have some pointers and tips Or if you know a website,
Because I'm sure they just
where it's
stand out in
listed.
your mind. You probably don't even need to rewatch them to know, you know? That's just something off the top of the head. You're like, oh yeah, he had chocolate cake.
So they eventually write the song. They just write the song. And I wrote Home Good commercial backing track demo. The demo just sounds like a Home Good commercial. And Drew Barrymore records the other part of it, and the autotune on her part was, you could smell it in the air. It was bold.
Yes. Well, I thought it was Cora Coram singing her part. Like, the vocals kind of sound the same.
Yeah, they kind of do. But there were certain parts where it, like, did a jump.
So autotune.
It was wild.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It had that.
Cora also felt to me like a fake pop star that's in like a movie that's like trying to be Black Mirror, but without even really trying that hard. Like the most surface level critique of modern society that ends at like people be on phone. Crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, that's true. Yeah.
Also, okay, this is actually kind of mean, but I'm going to say it, and this is going to hit for anyone. All of the scenes of this movie felt like I was watching a movie from the game Immortality, which is a game about fake movies that you watch clips of, and they're not all great. And I'm like, if I watched any scene from this and it was in the middle of Immortality, I'd be like, yeah, I guess, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess that is part of Immortality,
That sounds fair. It's so funny because, like, it's so easy to rag on this movie. I still love it, but I recognize it is not... It's kind of shitty in a beautiful way.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't think this movie's bad. There's nothing for it. Like, I have no nostalgic or emotional connection.
Pile of tropes with, like, minimal connections. And
yeah,
you just
and I'm
roll
not a
with it.
rom-com girl, so it's like...
Yeah.
A
lot of
course it's not going to resonate with me.
Suspension of disbelief is heavily required for this entire film.
You get a light miscommunication too, and I'm not here for that. It was like,
I hate miscommunication. I hate miscommunication as a trope.
I don't even remember what he said, but he had something that was clearly about the song.
You're Sally Michaels. You really are Sally Michaels.
No, that's later. That was uncalled for.
Oh my gosh.
That was fucking
I'm Sally Michaels. Stop. Take it back. You're Sally Michaels.
No, I'm not. But I am not.
So the scene where basically they go to a restaurant after the Cora Corman accepts the song, because of course she was going to. Like, you knew that was going to happen immediately. They go to a restaurant to celebrate, and the evil English professor is there. He's there.
And his name is Sloane, which is a great evil guy
Sloane
name.
Cates.
Sloane
Yeah.
Crate. Oh, Yates or whatever.
So, and Hugh Grant, basically, he's hyping her up like they're drunk girls in a restroom at a bar. And he's like, you should go out there and tell him. You should tell him. He fucking sucks. You gotta tell him he's a fucking jerk. You need to tell him. Mm-hmm. He convinces the person that they're like on a weird double date outing with. And he's like, hey, can you switch dresses with her so she looks more fancy? And she did look great in this dress. And then she doesn't even really confront him. She just kind of like sits there and...
Which I will say, so it's the wife of the manager, and she somehow has an entire makeup set with her, like literally 6 makeup brushes on her, which no human has casually at dinner. We don't have... You maybe bring your lipstick to do touch-ups. You don't have 6 makeup brushes on you, but she does give her dress to Sophie, and then she's a therapist, and she's like, finally, after 11 years of therapy, I'm actually helping someone. I finally helped someone, and I was like, woof. That's not good.
That's not great.
And then she really didn't, because, yeah, like you said, it like was painful to watch and annoying. I wanted to punch her.
Yeah, and then Hugh Grant tries to tell him off, and then he's like, oh, I knew what she was going to tell me anyway. And it's just annoying. I just didn't, like, I wish I cared more about this, but it was like, eh.
But there's no repercussions, really, to the fight. Because, like, the manager comes in and he's like, no, and you would think, like, the next thing would be like, oh, no, bad publicity. How will this affect... you know, the song and all this stuff, and it just is kind of like, no, he punched a guy, and for some reason that guy isn't going to sue him, which seems also like up his alley. It's weird, but it's painful to watch as well.
I did write down my favorite line from the movie where she says, that's wonderfully sensitive, especially for a man who wears such tight pants. And he says, it forces all the blood to my heart. That was good. I liked that. That was good.
It's one of the best lines.
That did make me chuckle. I was like, all right, fair enough. Yeah, okay, that is good. So, yeah, he does play DDR briefly, and that was crazy. When he was just, like, going fucking ham on a DDR machine when he goes to, like, Sophie's family's house. We're not doing the most, like, insane plot summary because, 1, it doesn't matter, and 2, like, you're not missing anything.
You're not. The plot
is exactly
just
what
they're
you
writing a
think
song
it
together.
is.
And the days literally blend together. I also don't know how they were there were at no point were they tired, which made no sense because they've been up for 36 hours. They did not sleep at all.
Yeah. So you get the miscommunication trope where he's like, some things aren't that serious and you don't have to care about it. And, Sophie had Rhonda tell her, like, make sure he actually cares about you. You know what I mean? And they've already hooked up at this point. And basically she interprets him talking about this song as if he's talking about their whole relationship. And then they get into a real fight, which is somehow both the most and least dramatic fight I've ever seen on film, because they're going to such extremes, but also talking with the tone like they're talking about a bad omelet.
Yeah. And then her sobbing is kind of out of place.
And he's like, you're exactly like the lady in the novel. And I was like, dude, calm it the fuck down. He's like, I actually read it. Also, how did he read it in the 24 fucking hours? They've been together the whole time. What kind of fucking reading speed does this guy have?
Right.
Is he listening to 3.75 on Audible? I think he's just lying. Like, he's just lying, right? There's no way
he read like
it.
the back cover and he's like,
yeah, sounds about right.
That'll cover it, I suppose.
He's like, I would definitely use this in an argument against her.
Yeah, because, like, she's all like, the song is pure, and Cora makes it, like, really fucking weird. She's like, give me something, like, steamy and sticky. And then it's, like, her writhing on the ground to, like, a nothing song. Yeah. Like, a nothing, like, ear bleeding worthy. But yeah, that fight, like, it would have been cool if we had been like, oh, we're so tired. That's why we're fighting or whatever as a thing. But no, it just kind of comes out of nowhere, essentially. And then also, like, he doesn't have the classic moment where he said something really bad and he's like, I'm sorry, I said too much, and then she goes away, like probably most humans would after saying something devastating. He doubles down on it and then doesn't seem to feel bad at all.
No, it's one of the... I was like, Jesus Christ. He was like, that trauma you confided in me about, I'm going to exploit it right now. And I was like, Jesus!
The one that has haunted you your entire life and made you not want to write anymore.
I'm going to tell you, he was right, bitch. I'm like, you're not coming back from that. I'm sorry. Like,
no.
I don't...
Which even if he had written a song for her and blah, 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 like, no, you don't get to come back into, like, you said the worst thing you could after someone confided in you. I was like,
So she's mad because he doesn't stick to his guns, and he's mad because she is, like, head in the clouds, whatever. Then there's a sad music montage where Drew Barrymore's taco falls apart, and he dances kind of shittily. And that was the funniest part of the movie. Her opening a taco, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then all the toppings fall out in a way that it's so clear that she's made the toppings fall out for the shot.
Yes.
I lost my shit, and it's like playing, like, a piano version of In the Arms of the Angels as this is happening, and I'm like, I can't take this shit seriously anymore.
Which was so great because my friend earlier that day cannot eat a taco for her life and did literally the same thing, and then that happened in the movie and we had to take a pause to...
It's so funny. It's like, look how terrible their lives are apart from each other when these things would have still happened.
Yeah.
They would have still happened.
Like, my taco fell apart. Kind of
I'm
like
shit
him
at dancing.
he's fallen apart. Dancing with Cora and he's just doing his same pop moves also, literally not doing the choreography given to him. He's like, oh, hip hop? Like, no.
Do you want to hip hop? And they're like, no, Grandpa, get back.
Like, literally
Let's get you back to bed, Grandpa. So they go to the concert, and he's like, he gets introduced by Cora Corman, and it's like this insane performance of, like, apparently it was just based on the Madonna Blonde Ambition tour. So that was wild. And she's like, he wrote this song himself. And Sophie's like, this fucking bitch.
Because who announces, and this was written by blah, blah. No one does that.
And this number is produced by Calvin Harris.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit. But, so, like, she's mad because it's called that he wrote it, but then it turns out he did actually write it. And it is, like, an okay song. And everyone just, like, sits down for this piano ballad, which is, it's not a bad song. It's fine.
But in the middle of a hype concert where it's been, like...
Yeah, again, Madonna Blonde Ambition tour. Like
the vibe. Kill the vibe of the concert. Like...
Yeah. So different. And she's really mad, but then she realizes the song is about her. But then they, like, keep trying to make it like he's looking at her, and it's like, bitch, he cannot see her.
He can't see her.
He doesn't even know she's here.
Also, bold to think that she would go. Yeah. Bold to think she would go.
Bold. But then she shows up backstage. They share the least sexy kiss of all time. And then he gets invited back on stage to perform the final number. That was the song they wrote together with Cora Corman. Sophie gets announced as a writer, and the movie is over. No, like...
Yep. And then you get your classic, which I will say, I love this in movies, when you have the credit scene, but you still get these little flash forward scenes of, like, all the characters. I'm like, I do enjoy that kind of thing. And that's when we start to kind of actually, like, okay, we see what happens. All the bad things happen to the bad people. Every member of Pop has to get a hip replacement except for Alex Fletcher.
That's
like,
wild.
Okay, wild. Also, I'm like, how much popping were y'all doing? Like, I don't. If anything, I think it would have been like built up.
No,
like,
I feel
would
like,
think you'd have like hips of steel. They go on to write 5 top 40 songs. They're like this duo that can't be stopped, and I'm like, this doesn't seem healthy. Like. I don't know. Like, it's just, it doesn't seem like a relationship that would last. Like, I enjoy it for a trashy rom-com, but
that's why
no
if they were
way in
besties,
hell.
It would have been better. That's what I truly believe in my
Yes.
heart of hearts. This movie would have gone up like a 1.5 stars if they didn't hook up under the piano. Also, they hook up under the
Agreed.
piano. That's fucked up. And not fucked up.
It was
I
weird.
just think it was impractical when, like, there's this apartment has so much open space. And you're like, yeah, let's do it under the piano. And then when we wake up, we'll both bang our heads in, like, a comedy moment. And then
They're
run
also,
around
like, really
with little
awkward
comforters
after.
wrapped around us like caterpillars.
Yes. It's like really awkward, and then like they go to the dinner with her family, and they never really talk about it, and there's this awkward moment where it's like, are we gonna kiss or not? And then they do, and it seems kind of like did we? Okay, bye.
I don't
But
think
then
either
they look
of
back
them
at each
were
other
sure
like,
about
it's
it.
supposed to be romantic. No, I think it was like, oh, I'm sleep deprived, jacked up on caffeine, on an adrenaline high to write this song, and you're a human here. And
No,
I've shared a lot of my emotions,
was the guiding force of this relationship. For truly,
Yes, 100%.
It doesn't make
Despite
sense
the fact the
otherwise.
movie does
He's
not
like-
let you think.
that they're tired. Yeah, no, I don't believe
Yeah,
this.
not at all.
This is like, I'm like, how did Harold and Maude have more chemistry than this? I'm like, bitch, I'm like, let me watch Harold and Maude again. What
That's
you could have
fucking
been.
great. Do you want to hear how this could be a rom-com? 'Cause
Tell
I
me.
figured it
Tell
out.
me. Tell me.
Okay. Same premise.
Yeah.
You have to write a song, not in 36 hours. Make it like 2 weeks. Okay. Give me some time. Because that gives us a solid half a week, I would say, of them having split up, and then we see each other again. They write the songs. However, as they start to learn more about each other, they start changing the lyrics without fully knowing that they are writing about each other and their feelings for each other. And then we start having these little like lines slip in, and we talk about the writing process. And as they bond through that, they're like flirting through the lyrics. And then at some point it's like, what's us writing the lyrics versus what I'm just like trying to say to you. And then we have the build up to the moment of like, oh, we've written this song for you, and they want to change it. And it's like, why are you so mad that Cora Corn wants to change it? It's like, because I wrote it for you, you know? And then that's the big blow
Oh my
up,
god, that
and
would have
then,
been so
like,
fucking good.
God, right? And then it's like, because now it's like,
Get a
oh, you're
lane on the
selling
writing
out
team.
not on the
Get a lane
song
on the
purity,
writing
but
team.
on like my feelings about you.
It's so much
is-
better, Elaine.
Right? And then you can still have the same shit happen. It makes the stupid song sound even better. It makes it even better because what if he's bad at expressing his feelings? And so now he's like, not only through, like, by writing the lyrics, that was his block. It's like, it's not that he's a bad lyricist, it's that he doesn't know how to express his feelings properly. And then by working with her, not only is he, you know, picking up on some stuff from her, but he's learning how to open up and actually have a real relationship. And so that makes the power of him writing his own song about his love for her at Madison Square Garden in the middle of this like sex pop concert even more impactful. And that's how you make that a super romance.
That would be great. See, that's the thing. I wanted to be on board. I wanted to like this, but I just
Yeah.
didn't care. And it
No.
needed something like that. The I Wrote It For You was such a better conclusion. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I'm mad.
Right? Like, I thought about it. I was like, that would be fantastic.
This is like
there
when
a
you're
book
like, the
version
movie's good,
someone
but then
could
you
make of
realize
this?
what could have happened. You're like, oh god damn it, maybe I'm
Yes. And then it's like all the weird kissing would feel a lot better. The makeout scene at the end that really seems out of place would be better. Like, felt like handshakes.
Yeah,
really.
every kiss felt like a handshake here. It felt like something, it's like, oh, I guess that's what they do in France. Do you know what I mean?
It felt like you went to hug the person and you weren't sure if you guys were ready to hug, but now you've broken the hug barrier. You just have to keep hugging every time you like say goodbye.
Yeah,
except
exactly that.
Like
exactly
now
that.
Tongues involved. Like it's just kind of
Did
overall,
we learn anything from this? I feel like overall, how we feel.
I think we saw, because I think that might be one of the last true rom-coms Hugh did. I could be very wrong, but I feel like that was one of the last few ones he did. And it kind of fell very much into like, you know, he had a typecast he would play. And so I think that might be why it worked really well when it came out, because it kind of felt nostalgic, again, weirdly in that way. Where it was like, oh my gosh, a classic, like, you know, rom-com with Hugh Grant again. Like, wow, who would have thought? So I think for what it is, I do enjoy it. And also I do enjoy the songs despite, you know, are they fantastic? I don't care. They get stuck in my head. I knew all the lyrics even after all these years, like listening to it. Cute concept, good background film that brings back silly memories, easy to, you know, memorize certain things. And then, you know, that's it. Nothing to write home about, but a solid, like, calm watch. Like a good thing you can rewatch in the background and enjoy, I feel like. But learning, I don't know. He can perform better. He's gotten better.
He has
and he
gotten
knows
better.
probably more of his artistry with that. So
yeah, I really, the way that this can be summarized is everything made me go, oh, I wish I was doing that. Is like, it's fine, but there was most of the things in this film reminded me of something I would rather be doing. I don't think I learned anything either. I think I learned that maybe my Hugh Grant impression isn't as on point as I thought, and that's okay. I do truly think it's based on A Very English Scandal and Phoenix Buchanan. So the combo of those is kind of what I'm getting. So I don't think it's that bad. But it's a little misguided at times, you know? Our impression is what Hugh Grant would be like if he ate croissants.
yes, it's a caricature.
It's a character.
You know?
It's a Snatch Game Hugh Grant. You know, it's not like...
It is, yeah.
Okay, predictions.
I think that from this movie, there will be a dance move that becomes a TikTok dance trend.
You know what? I have my prediction. I think we're going to get a Hugh Grant hip-hop. Because he did it in Love Actually, too.
It's his signature move.
The Hugh Grant hip-hop.
Oh my gosh, we just blew the cover on Hugh Grant's signature dance move.
Well, I only know he did it in Love Actually because I saw it in some Letterboxd reviews.
It's great.
I've seen a GIF, and I feel strongly about that. I think we're going to get a Hugh Grant hip-hop. Or like a nod to his Love Actually thing in the background, you know what I mean?
I love that.
I think he might kill somebody for that. If they actually make him do that. I feel like he wouldn't like that.
I thought you meant Hugo Loompa would commit murder, and I was like, I agree. I fully agree that Hugo Loompa has killed somebody and has no regrets about it.
Would make sense. All right.
Oh,
well,
fantastic.
Those are our predictions. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of Wonka Watch. If you want to follow us, you can do so on TikTok and Instagram at Wonka Watch. If you want to send us an email, especially an email about the times Hugh Grant has eaten on screen, you can do so at wonkarapture@gmail.com. If you want to support us, you can join our membership at buymeacoffee.com/WonkaWatch. It's $5 a month, and you get some fun shit with it. Next month, well, September, I don't know when this is coming out, but in September, we have on the docket, I made a huge Timothée Chalamet Vogue fashion quiz and made Elaine take it, and we had a great fucking time. So that's going to be going up in September, and we're going to be doing another commentary track. What that will be remains yet to be decided, but it's happening. But yeah, you can support us on there. You get a little song, and you get all of our bonus content, which is fun. And today, we do have someone, and insanely enough...
What?
A person named Lyric joined, and I didn't realize that happened until like 5 minutes ago, and I was like, wait, now hold on, that's crazy.
Fuck up.
So Lyric, you are right on point. They didn't have a message associated, so just I want you to know, Lyric, you somehow picked the perfect time. Like, I mean, this whole episode, essentially, you know? And I really wish I would have thought ahead and picked like an 80s track to make this make more sense. But I didn't, so the song is Imperial Forces. So just like a bit of a Star Wars vibe at the end of this.
Oh my god.
To kind of give us our Buy Me a Coffee song. So Elaine, you better get some good lyrics on this one.
I feel a lot of pressure. Here we go. I'm gonna hold my microphone. We are gathered here to initiate a new member of the Well. Listen to the music. Listen to the words that I'm saying. They will become your anthem. They will drive you to war. Lyric, you lead us with your words. You will guide us to the mountaintop. There will be a peak, and we will find there with our voices, music, and lyric. There's smoke on the battlefield. It's good when you cut me off. I'm always glad you cut me off.
Yeah, because I couldn't let you go forever.
Away.
I think one time I should just put a 10-minute song on there and see how long until you tap out.
Just see how long I go, and I'm like, oh wait, should I stop now? I want to give a quick shout out to Rumi and bestie Cameron, who lives with me and has to exist in this house when I do this shit. So when you hear me loudly laughing and stuff, like, she has to go through it out of context.
Yeah.
And then when I do these songs, it's just like, what the fuck is
She's
going
thinking
on?
about the
so
war
just, like,
again.
Yeah, they're like, and then it's like, what the fuck? And then I had
And
to
it's like
explain.
there's
It's
not
like, oh
even
yeah,
a
sorry, my
war in our
roommate's doing her
fiction
Wonka
either.
podcast.
It's just,
yeah.
that's your easy go-to.
Yeah, because I'm
All the Les Mis, I guess.
yeah, it's so anyway, everyone just shout out to Cameron, who puts up with this.
Yeah.
So thank you, Lyric.
Thank you, Lyric. Yes.
That might be one of the more passionate ones I've like had take over me in terms of the war. Like, I saw the war.
Yeah.
It was giving like Mulan.
No, I was thinking of the exact same thing. The scene where like all the
Right.
little the cannons and the avalanche. I was thinking about it too. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was feeling.
just on
I'm
the
glad
same
that
page.
came across in the lyrics, you know.
So, you know, at the I don't even know. We always do our thing of like, this felt important, but at the end of the day, it wasn't. Nothing felt important today. This was like such a write-off. This felt like our fucking like when you're in a book club and you got the easy month. Like, this feels like nothing. Was there anything important about this? Maurice is important. I like the movie.
You know what's
Maurice.
delightful?
Yeah.
Is that my headphones stopped working, which I think is a perfect description of this movie.
you can't even
is
hear
that I'm here and I'm like seeing Felicia. I can faintly hear her, and I think she asked me, was
I think
anything
Elaine's
important?
not
And I
important.
really just think this guy. Oh, now what's she doing? What are you doing, Felicia?
No, I don't feel that way. I don't feel the way. I love
so
Elaine. She's
truly,
amazing.
At the end, to me, it's not that important because I can't even fucking hear her.
It's not that
And it's
important.
stupid. It's not that important.
Bye.
Bye.